What's up guys, Shavin back with another video. As you may have seen, I made a video analyzing MrSavage's solo cash cup victory, and I learned a ton from it. Obviously I'm nowhere near MrSavage's level, but I did my best to apply some of the strategies I learned from watching MrSavage play. And I didn't do terrible in the solo cash cup. If I can perfect some of the strategies MrSavage used, I may be able to place in some solo cash cups pretty soon, and you may be able to also. So hopefully this VOD review and comparison to MrSavage's gameplay can help you out. Before we start the video, please consider using code JIVENTV in the Fortnite item shop. They recently reset everybody's codes, so just double check to make sure you have somebody's code in the item shop. Let's hop into this video. So throughout this cash cup, I actually played insanely consistently in early and mid game. I think I only lost one mid game / early game fight, and it was during my W key game. So overall, early game was spectacular, but my late game had a lot of room to improve. Let's check it out. So as you can see, I got blessed with zone here, and I should have been focusing all my energy on just staying on that front side because I got blessed and you can't mess up those opportunities. But I saw an opportunity for a refresh I didn't need. I ended up getting it, but after I got it, I got stuck on backside of zone. The refresh didn't even give me that much, I got an upgraded pump and like siphon mats. But it was not worth my time, and I gave up good positioning because of it. When you have mats and have positioning, hold on to that. I really should have been fine here even though I gave up my positioning, but as you can see, I got stuck in all these builds. What I learned from this situation is if you're ahead and you have mats, stay ahead. But if you fall behind the storm and you're stuck behind a bunch of builds, you need to go up immediately. I tried to break through the builds, but I should have just gone over top of them. Because as you saw, by trying to go through them, I just got destroyed from so many different angles because I got stuck on the backside of zone. Game 2, I got 50-50'd off spawn, won that easily. And then I got pushed by another person, but I played it really well. I took my time, made sure I was healthy, and then was able to clean that up. I saw an opportunity for a free kill. There was no one on this side of the zone except for this player, so when I got this beam, I just pushed it and finished it really fast. And then I just built ramps and protected myself on the rest of the way into zone. Got into a really good spot to look for picks, and I heard somebody get cracked below me, and I went for it. It was an easy cleanup, but I should have built around myself in metal before going into that so that I would have had more time to branch out after I got the kill, because I ended up getting 50-50'd and died. So next game I got pushed off spawn again, and it was a really easy cleanup, but after that I had really good loot, so I just avoided fights in mid game and I focused on getting positioning and getting ready to win the whole game. So at the start of this late game, I had really shambles mats, and I saw somebody die in this box, and somebody got the loot, but I figured there might be some extra mats to help me get to this next zone. It took me a little bit of time to get there, but I got the mats, and then I was able to start my rotate, and I had really good mats from that. Now, one of the things MrSavage does insanely well is just focusing on moving forward. He blocks off his back and never takes time to look at what's behind him. He just blocks off his back and continues moving forward. So that's what I tried to do here. I tried to keep my momentum moving forward, and if I was going to pick a fight, I'd only pick fights with people ahead of me. So while tunneling here, I ended up tunneling right into somebody, and I was a little bit slow to react. I flipped that ramp and he shot me through the ramp somehow, but I was a little bit slow to do so. If I would have flipped the ramp sooner, I would have been chilling, or if I went out the side sooner, would have been chilling. But if I run into somebody like that, I need to just get around them much faster. But that game I did a lot better of staying ahead. The next game I ended up rotating over to Greasy, where the Burger Man is with the spaz. And when I rotated here, somebody was already fighting the spaz guy. So I ended up being able to kill the spaz guy, but then I was in a really shambles fight. I had no extra heals or anything, so I had to play really safe. I just got to high ground and waited for an opportunity to come where I could take a shot without really taking damage. Let's go, bro. Then in this late game, I probably should have been a little more patient with my rotate. I saw this guy go over top and he didn't have any problem, so I was just gonna follow him in, but there were two people sitting in cones with spazzes. And when I ran past them, they double pumped me instead of the first guy. Weird, but next game, I ended up landing somewhere different and I picked a fight over here and got 2 kills. I played this fight super well. I waited for them to start fighting and then I went and third-partied and cleaned them both up really quickly. No ammo. In this late game, I set myself up in a perfect spot right on the edge's zone, and as you can see if you look at the circle, there is a lot of storm closing in on me. This means that there could be a lot of players rotating from that direction, and there were like 4 players that ended up rotating to me, and I was able to get a lot of free shots on them. And then I got myself set up on the right side of zone for this moving zone, and I planned to just straight line it in. I knew I needed to go up a few layers because it was pulling up a mountain and I didn't want to get stuck on low ground. So in my head at the start of this rotate, I thought what would MrSavage do? He would get on the front side of zone, and then once he gets like 3/4 or all the way to the front side, he would look for kills while staying ahead. At a couple different moments, I did end up getting a little too greedy for kills, but overall this was a really good end game. Definitely an improvement from the ones before. Check it. The end of this was so sad. I mean, my brain being a boomer just shuts off at random points in late game, and I ended up just leaving that wall open on accident. What I should have done there is just close off that one side, loot faster, and start rotating to front side of zone again right after I get that kill. I got too caught up in the loot, and I can't be doing that. Next game, I got aggroed by 2 players during mid game. And while my goal was to just focus on late game and not take mid game fights, if you get psychoed super hard in mid game, then you gotta fight back. So when I got pushed, instead of getting scared and trying to run away, I just alphaed up. This is where that arena fighting practice comes in handy. That's why I play arena so much for these type of situations. Clutch! But that mid-game fight sent me way back in zone and I had to rotate so far to get to the next zone and I was shambles on everything. When I got in, I was getting focused like crazy because I was one of the last people rotating into circle. I should have made it out of this, but I ended up choking a shot on this guy. And because of that choke shot, I took so much damage and there was no getting out of that. Now with the stink bow getting shot at me while I'm getting sprayed. My aim's been pretty bad recently, and the way I've been trying to fix it is just running aim duels, using a pump in aim duels, trying to hit all my shots. Even when I'm in aim duels, I'm only hitting like 2/3 of the shots, so I gotta keep working on that. Next game, I made this god tier bush play. I'll tell you, my AR aim is actually so good up close, but I always miss that first pump for some reason. Not always, but a lot of times. In this late game, I did a good job of using all my mats to get ahead and then looking for a refresh. But again, you know, my pump aim just needs work. I've realized it over the past few days, so I've been grinding my aim so much more. I would have been chilling this game if I would have just hit my shots. I did a perfect job setting up positioning to get that refresh, as you saw, but I missed my pump shot. So at this point, I had 3 games left with like 15 minutes, so I was W-keying this game and I was hoping to die around the like 7-minute mark because that would give me enough time to drop off spawn, and if I died off spawn, I'd have enough time to get into another game. So I ended up playing this game out perfectly. I got 2 free kills, and then I ended up dying, being able to get into another game, and if I died off spawn in that game, I could get in another one. I ended up getting contested off spawn in this game, but I played this fight really well. You know, I used the environment to get angles on the opponent, specifically angles that they would not expect. You know, who would think that they would get shot through this tiny window? So now this last late game, you know, if I clutch up this late game, I'll place like top 100. I did a really good job of playing positioning this late game. That was the goal today, you know, work on staying ahead, not looking back. If I want to go for a refresh, end it quickly. I'll let you watch this one out. You'll see at the end I ended up choking. I got too focused on getting my refresh, and I ended up putting myself in a really bad position, and then I panicked and ended up rushing the situation. If I would have taken my time, I would have noticed that there could have been an escape if I would have gone down or up, but you'll see that. One thing MrSavage does insanely well is use a harpoon in late game, which I talked about like crazy in my MrSavage video. But I could not find harpoons most of this tournament. I had it this game, and I did not use it very well. You can get out of tight situations with it. I could have escaped with it really easily, but like I said, I choked. RIP. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and enjoy this last highlight. Ah, dude, I choked. Hey, GG's. Almost hit 100 points, bro.